All right, fast forward to actually processing the data that I captured in the parking lot where I went around our building over here. So I imported the data from the SD card and I went through a standard processing. So nothing really fancy here. It's all processed. I just want you to see the actual settings that I had. So I had obviously not skip fully processed scans, but my default settings are these kind of settings here. So oh, and I definitely didn't run the edge artifact filter. I also didn't look for spheres. I'll do that later because I have some spheres, but I don't need them for registration. So, needless to say, I have, how many scans? We have 15 scans that are processed but have not been registered yet. So, the registration that you see here is the result of FARO stream from the phone. So you can see that there's definitely a difference in the heights of the individual scans. There's going to be a difference in heights of your actual floors, ground over here. So I mean, that's standard stuff expected from a phone app. All right, so let's do this. Let's go into registration, and instead of doing the old school registration, we'll go into interactive here. Interactive is nice because it allows you to, and I'm going to highlight what I want to actually register. So I'm highlighting my scans here, hitting registration view. It allows you to kind of look at what the iPad thought was linked to what. So this is not going to be foolproof. It is something that I usually look at even before doing anything with this. But let's pretend that you are not like me and lazy and just go ahead and actually start registering. To start registering with interactive, and it having been placed already, what you have is these connections that need to be refined. So we are in this section of registration already because the course registration was done by the scanner, by the Stream app. Fine registration we could do, but it's going to do the whole project at once. I just want to refine these connections and then maybe review them and see if I can change some. The settings of the registration in the interactive registration are here. This is where you can change what you like. So for example, I don't like that this is at 10 feet. We might want to make it say, I don't know, 3 feet or something. But again, and change your values over here. But I will maybe even use the inclinometer and compass. Let's give it a try. But again, that's just completely up to you. Right now, I'll just hit refine. And what refine will do is these are the connections that are in between scans right now. And refining will try to find a common ground between scans that are within in nearest adjacency, or at least the adjacency that's shown by the connection. So let's hit refine connections and just wait for it. All right, so these connections have been all kind of refined already. You can tell that there's some issues by just looking here. If a refinement works, it'll have a really low tension on the actual connection. So over here, ones that didn't work, like this guy over here, has a little question mark to it and will not have any statistics to it. That means they were either too far apart or you need to change the actual settings. So you can micromanage these little settings. Again, here, I can kind of tell that this might have worked, except it might be a little bit too far apart. So let me see, hold on, let's see the statistics here. 3, overlap is little. Once it drops below 25, you see that the line color will change depending on your settings in your actual configuration of scene. But let's do this. So it looks like most of it worked, but I definitely don't like, for example, this guy, right? It has a length that's unnecessarily long. My tensions are also high. I can go ahead and actually delete this connection. So let me go right click this guy and delete it. Yep. And we'll just add a connection between here and here. If I can hit it, there we go. So we have a new connection. Hitting escape takes you out of that routine. Let's go here. I also am not a big fan of this guy here. So I'll actually right click it and delete this. And are you sure? Yes. And we will add a connection between here and here. Then let's see, I don't like that it arbitrarily picked this connection here. So let me delete this guy. And you can hit the delete key on the keyboard if it's too much right clicking, but again, we'll just connect these guys. And what else? Oh, we don't like this. And I'm just gonna hit the delete key here. Yes, add another connection, click, click, there we go. And now that you've added more of these connections, oh, and I guess I forgot this guy, which would really close the actual loop here for me. Now that we've done this, hitting refine connections will refine new connections. See, this is not all of the others, but really only the new ones. Let's see. It's going to try to use the settings that we have in, again, here to refine these individual connections, these new ones that we just created. So we should get some indications if it works here. There we go, that actually worked pretty well because I don't see any weird outliers. I don't see anything going on over here. Now everybody will notice there's still an error here, but that's just because we didn't do an optimization. So these are individual connections between them, and then optimization actually changes the view of your global, I guess, point cloud. So you see two trucks. So let me go ahead and hit optimize. See, it actually brings it in. I shouldn't have multiple floors here like I did before. I don't. It all looks okay. I still don't have updated statistics. This is where you are not going to have updated statistics. That's just because you have to hit the button that says update statistics. So let me do this. And here we go. This is your standard, what is it, registration scan manager that will show you your tensions. There's the largest tension I can see is on the far back scans 4 and 5 here. I know they are back here. They were kind of really far apart from each other, so it's not ideal. You can try, that's what's cool about this, you can actually give it a try. You can right click that connection and the scan and hit inspect, and when you do inspect it'll just pull up those two scans, and you can try to change the registration settings here between them. So let's say we want to do, I don't know, 0.3 of a foot here, higher subsampling, and hitting OK and trying to do a fine registration. So before registering it was at 7.7 millimeters. Before changing, I guess, settings for the registration, it was 7.7 millimeters. If it gets a little bit better, maybe we can use it and then we can kind of rebalance everything. But you'll see that it'll give us 7.4, so it's slightly better, but it's not much better. You can keep on trying, but if you do this, you'll see that this will be now up to, well, we just broke the initial optimization, so that's why there's a little bit of a question mark here. So if I hit optimize and then update the statistics, it should give us a successful link here. Yes, maybe got a little bit better. Well, it went from 7.7 to 7.6, so it got a little bit better. You can kind of tweak this, and obviously this is up to how much time you actually have on your hands. But from a perspective of having done the cloud to cloud and interactive registration, I am done. I'm going to hit this, and I'm going to say registered with cloud to cloud to 3 millimeter accuracy. Overall, I read it from the actual report that was there. So what I mean is this guy, I'm just reading this value, well, ultimately just for my record. Now, if I want to tweak this a little bit better, I can add more connections here, right? So I mean, this could be connected to here, and then this could be connected to here. And then these guys are relatively close, so they could be connected. Or if you don't want to do all of these manually, this is what's nice about this. You can hit the Find Registration button. Find Registration inherits the placement of where the scans are now, but finds some still common links between them, adds them, and gives you that kind of feedback. Let's wait for this again. Okay, let's look at our results. They actually got a little bit worse. So what we had before would have been perfectly enough, but you see it added really only apparently that connection and 1, 2 other connections. So if you don't like this, you can go ahead and actually just delete them. But that's what's nice about this. You can micromanage this stuff. So we had good results or better results before. So there we go. And I don't know, you don't have to do this. And we can just re-optimize and update the statistics over here. And it shouldn't take very long because it's not actually doing a full-blown registration, but we should be back to our results here. So we're slightly there. It adjusted these values again. But again, you can keep on trying as much as you want. So now that this is done, what I have still in store for us is we need to import our control. We had control that was done on these spheres that are here on the ground, ones here and then ones in the corner there and then ones down here. I will import our references. Let's make sure that the units are correct. Survey feet, that's correct. All right, so interactive registration, import references. They are under my, here we go, open. I should now have a few of my references. There we go. I always recommend double checking that they look correct, but these values are correct. So it didn't transpose any numbers and the units are okay also. All right, next, what we haven't done yet is I'm going to actually find my spheres. And mind you, this was done with Flash. And when you have Flash, the images look great, but it is definitely a lower resolution raw scan here. So when I turn off the color, you'll see what I mean. It still works well close by, but further away you'll have uglier data. So this data looks ugly just because it's a lower resolution value here, but I still have 440 points on that sphere. And let's go here. 580 points there, 570 points there, and then I know I have one here, and this might be a little bit too far. Let's try it. 59 points, not horrible, but not that excited about it. But again, that's expected because I was far away from this position. Registration should be okay, so let's pick a scan that was closer to here. So let's go maybe this guy. And let's do the same thing. We'll find the targets. Color makes it look nice, but ultimately the data that you need to register to is going to be here. Come on. All right, here we go. There's a sphere here. And the other one, this one's really far. Oh, still 82 points. Awesome. Oh, and that one's definitely not going to work, right? Yeah. We can force it to try to force it, but it's not going to work. This is really too far. It did work, but I'm not going to take it. Okay. All right. So that's that. And maybe we will do what else? Maybe from here. And we will view, planar view again. And unloading the pictures makes it a little bit easier to pick because the pictures give you a little bit of a false sense of everything was captured and you have the trees, whereas if you kind of do this and then you turn off color and then you realize, oh, we missed a lot of the stuff that you're expecting to actually hit if you were identifying targets. So that's why usually identifying targets is easier done in laser mode rather than picture mode. All right, we got 700 points on this guy. Let's go here. Nice, 103 points on this, and we might be able to get this guy. Wrong radius, that's the other thing, but let's try elsewhere. 75 points. All right, you know what? Let's try if we can get a better fit by actually highlighting what we want. Hey, better, 87 points. Okay, so that should be enough because I only had 3 targets there plus the checkerboard target, but I'm not concerned about the checkerboard target because I'm really only using the spheres to rotate this in. All right, so under our interactive registration, what we have currently is we have a successfully linked cloud-to-cloud registration routine here. Everything's been done. We have good results on our, relatively good results on our outside. Again, the Flash registration and FARO Premium, Flash Premium workflow should not be that great outside, showing that it can be used outside too. It's much better inside. But again, even outside, it actually kind of works with higher, well, tolerances, I guess. All right, let's do this. Let's find our spheres. So in the past, you had to run a registration over here. These targets are already, they exist in our scans because we identified them. So you can see them here. Obviously, I don't have any here because I didn't actually go in there. So in order to find them, what we'll do is run a correspondence search. And running a correspondence search is immediate, it's very fast, because that allows you to find the spheres from the perspective of the scanner. You can actually see by viewing which spheres were captured or recognized from which scan by clicking it. All right, and now that's it. All we have to do is hit the button that says register to references. So let me hit this. And what it should do is it'll move my targets, obviously, to the actual references. Update my fit. It's gotten slightly worse, again, depending on how bad your actual targets were. But if we now, let's just close this view just so that we can actually see it, appreciate what happened. If we do registration view, we should be able to locate 101, which is here, 102, which is here, 103, which is here, awesome. And even the checkerboard target that's on the wall, even though we didn't actually mark it. Oh, there we go. And we have a misalignment there, slightly on the actual target because that was not one of my things. So again, it isn't a target that I actually utilize. But there we go. So we have everything registered to where it should be. I can hit the save button and say registered to targets, and I'm done with the project as far as registration. Yes, I can proceed with cleaning up and tweaking stuff as I want, but ultimately that's it. There's nothing else that I'm going to do with this in registration, from a registration perspective anymore. Hopefully this was a useful video. If you have any questions or comments, leave them below.